and lows. Welcome back to beautiful Lahaina, a spectacular day and a great setting for a great college basketball tournament. This is the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. Louisville Cardinals, Arkansas Razorbacks in the second game today. The winner to advance to take on the Creighton Blue Jays, who won their first game today by defeating the Texas Tech Red Raiders. It was a physical, intense affair. All 5 Blue Jays starters were in double figures as the Blue Jays had a great second half and beat the Red Raiders 76-65. So that's the first game. This is the second. 2 more coming tonight. Don't forget the other side of the draw, Ohio State and San Diego State, and then Cincinnati and Arizona. It all culminates with a championship game on Wednesday on ESPN. Welcome back inside the Lahaina Civic Center. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, glad as always that you're with us. A lot of new faces for Arkansas. Freshmen, we're going to talk about them, but let's start with a couple of transfers who are off to great starts.
Yeah, 11 newcomers, including 6 freshmen that are all ranked in the ESPN 100, but the transfers, Ricky Council IV, who transferred in from Wichita State, and Trevin Brazil, who transferred in from Missouri. Council's averaging 19 points a game. Brazil averaging 14 points and 10 rebounds. And talk about athletic. The dunk of the year, and this one could hold up the whole year. What a big-time play by Trevin Brazil out of Springfield, Missouri. This Arkansas team has great potential defensively.
As for Louisville, Kenny Payne has taken over as the head coach. Great player there in the 80s, back at his alma mater now, and they're in a bit of a transitional stage, rebuilding, however you want to say it. They're 0-3. All 3 losses have been by 1 point. A very painful way for the Cardinals to start their season.
Yeah, Louisville's going to have to get a great performance out of their leading scorer, guard L. Ellis, who's averaging about 24 points per game. In his last 2 games against Appalachian State and Wright State, he's had 58 points. That's 29 a game in his last 2. He's going to be the focus of the Arkansas defense.
Hogs in white, Cardinals in red, and away we go. Great athletes, great length on this Arkansas team, and one of the few holdovers, Devo Davis, the junior from Jacksonville, Arkansas, gives him the early lead as we bring you today's starting lineups brought to you by Hawaiian Airlines. Jay talked about L. Ellis, how important he is. They need something from their big guys. They need some production from the guys up front. They've actually got a lot of size, way more front court players than true guards. And there's some muscle inside for Sidney Curry, but you know, again, Arkansas's got such great length and leaping ability, but boy, would Louisville love to get some offense out of Curry.
Yeah, Mekhi Mitchell doing a really nice job of staying in front of Sidney Curry, making him shoot over with those quick feet. You know, Mekhi Mitchell can rebound. Both he and his brothers, twin brother, are really good shot blockers as well and shot challengers. This young man, number 0, Anthony Black, he's going to be a great player. Got a terrific feel, good defender, and he can really pass and score.
Yeah, unique skill set, 6'7", doesn't look for his as much as he looks to set up others. As another 5-star freshman, Jordan Walsh, puts up a jumper that doesn't go.
And with L. Ellis, who's being guarded by Devo Davis, they want to make him into a driver. Don't let him be a jump shooter. Keep him out of rhythm where he can't catch and shoot.
And away from the ball, another call going against Louisville. Eric Musselman has put together quite a team here. Again, they lost just about everybody, but the combination of a great recruiting class, great freshman class, and a great group of transfers has this team in the top 10.
Well, Eric Musselman's done a fantastic job at Arkansas. 2 straight Elite Eights, coming off a 28-9 season where they lost to Duke in the Elite Eight. And he's put together 2 straight top 10 recruiting classes. And this team that he's got here, they may be young, but they've got a ton of length and athleticism. 6 players on this roster have a 7-foot wingspan or more, and their average wingspan is 6'9".
Yeah, they look more like a pro team than a college team when they walk into the gym. Weak side rebound, Curry, but he lost it. Black. And an offensive foul. That was Jalen Withers stepping in to take the charge. Withers, an important guy for Louisville, a redshirt junior out of Charlotte. Has had a couple of really good games, a very quiet game against somebody up front. Whether it's Brandon Huntley Hatfield with the ball right now, the transfer from Tennessee, Withers, Curry, they need some offense from the big guys.
And that offense has got to come off the offensive glass, one, but they've got to finish plays. But first, you got to get something. You got to put Arkansas into help and recover situations. Their ball pressure has been really good.
Ellis with a floater won't go. And a rebound of Makai Mitchell.
That's just a good job by Devo Davis at turning L. Ellis into a driver.
In transition, the three not there for Ricky Council the fourth. He comes from Wichita State.
And Council is a spectacular athlete. Talk about the high wire acts this team has. There's going to be a lot of Instagram highlights and a whole bunch of highlights from Arkansas this year.
And another offensive foul against the Cardinals. This time it is Brandon Huntley Hatfield. Trying to establish position and just knocked him down with the left arm. The Louisville losses all by one again to Bellarmine, Wright State, and Appalachian State, all at home.
And Bellarmine, coached by Scott Davenport, taking on Duke tonight at Cameron Indoor Stadium. That's a program that just went Division I a couple of years ago.
Black, too strong on the three.
Arkansas cannot settle for jumpers. And that was wide open.
They have not been a good three-point shooting team early on in the season. Just 13 threes. 13 made threes in 3 games for the Hogs. But they get out in transition. They are lethal. Tough catch.
Well, Withers should have had that ball. That was a lollipop pass thrown out from Mitchell. He should have taken that the other way.
Walsh for 3. 5-0 Hogs.
Jordan Walsh is averaging 11 points per game in his last 2. That's now 10 of his last 14 from the field. Another one of these McDonald's All-Americans with a 7'3" wingspan, can really guard, and an explosive athlete.
Devo Davis goes to the bench, and Trevin Brazil comes into the game. So this spectacular talent with Brazil averaging 14 a game. He's actually coming off the bench for Arkansas. Ellis to inbound. And away from the ball, a call on Brazil. This is a wingspan. If you're a wingspan guy, Jay, this is a wingspan game.
Boy, and you combine that 7'3" wingspan with a 42-inch vert. That's impressive.
A transfer from Missouri, out of Springfield, Missouri.
He's had a ton of double-doubles, and he's a good shot blocker as well.
Ellis, he's the engine for Louisville. Curry got a hand on it, still battling for it, but it comes down to Arkansas.
Well, so far the game plan of making L. Ellis into a driver is working. Then he's got to shoot against secondary defenders over the top.
And now Makai Mitchell fouled by Sidney Curry to take us to a timeout. 5-0 Arkansas. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Maui Jim Eyewear. Make every day more beautiful. Ace, the helpful place. And Hawaiian Airlines, serving Maui with nonstop flights from Kahului to 10 West Coast cities. Well, it's not all basketball for the teams as they come out here to Maui. There's always a little bit of time to experience some of the local flavor, get out on a boat, do some body surfing, whatever suits their fancy. And all 8 teams certainly having a good time. Several of them are staying an extra day on Thanksgiving, on Thursday, to do a little bit more exploring. But right now for Kenny Payne and the Cardinals, let's talk about this. I mean, this is a program that has won national championships, Final Fours. Obviously, it's been a very tough last few years. Kenny Payne comes in, takes over at a school that he knows well. He seemed to be the obvious choice to take over with the job open. Where is this program at right now? What's Kenny Payne trying to get out of this group?
Well, it's a work in progress, and this program's trying to establish a winning culture again and lay down a foundation. And these players have been through a lot. And Jalen Withers getting away with a discard there to grab that defensive rebound. But it's been through a lot. And for Kenny Payne and his staff, they're trying to stay positive and keep building. And they want their players, you know, they're demanding of their players. They're in great shape. Boy, Kenny has been running them.
Yes.
He's run the tread off their shoes. But he doesn't want to overwhelm them with so many people right now are negative around the program. You know, team's not any good, not winning, 3 losses in a row by 1 point. You know, what's the season going to be like? You know, Kenny Payne doesn't want to be like that. It's going to take some time to rebuild.
3-pointer wide right for Brazil. Kenny Payne has said often this year as Ellis goes the length of the court, Walsh the rebound. The 2 most important things to him by far: play with energy, play with confidence. He can live with anything else.
Well, Kenny Payne was an outstanding player at Louisville, drafted in the first round of the NBA draft his senior year. I think it was 1989, if I remember right. But he's been all over as an assistant. Spent a lot of time with John Calipari at Kentucky. Started his career out as an assistant in Eugene at Oregon. So he's the right guy, yeah. I think, Ed. I think he's the right guy at Louisville. He loves it. And it's in his blood, yeah. and he'll do a great job recruiting. That's really going to be the key, is to get players in there.
J.J. Traynor, and finally Louisville scores. So you would have played against Kenny Payne in the national championship.
We did. Yeah. He's wearing my ring.
Travel on Walsh, and Arkansas has gone stagnant at the offensive end.
Well, it's been a lot of jump shots for Arkansas, and the Razorbacks have not yet been able to get out in transition, get anything easy. But I don't think they can settle for jumpers. Arkansas has got to move the ball, be able to get into the paint. And there have been a turnover or 2.
3-point shooting again, not the strength of this Hogs team in the early going. Great look for Withers. A little bit too strong, and down to the rebound, Ricky Council, the 4th. Off the knee of Mikel Mitchell, who has come to take the place of his twin brother in the middle, and Arkansas turns it over for the 4th time.
Just not a very good pass, not a good idea. I mean, what's Mitchell going to do with it if he catches it?
Whoa. Well, we know what Mitchell's going to do at the other end. Reject it.
Block that with the left hand. One of the better shot blockers in the Atlantic 10 when he was at Rhode Island. Took that right out of the air when Hersey Miller tried to put it up over him.
Mikel, a bit more physical, more of a shot blocker. Mackay, who starts and plays much more, a little bit better of a runner down the court, a little bit more in his game offensively, but they both get minutes at the 5 spot for Eric Musselman.
Yeah, Mackay a little more nimble, more of an SEC athlete. I would say that Mikel is more like an old school Big Ten big guy.
And Huntley Hatfield coughs it up. Hogs in transition.
They're driving lanes. Get it to the rim.
And out ahead of the field, Traynor with a slam. And Louisville, despite not scoring for about 5.5 minutes, they're back within 1.
Well, J.J. Traynor is a lengthy, athletic, 7'2" wingspan guy. He can knock down a mid-range shot. Well, I know when Chris Mack recruited him, Mack loved him, thought he was going to be an outstanding player.
Council for 3.
Well, the athleticism on this Arkansas team is really impressive, and Council had 15.7 assists as point guard against Fordham. A lot of versatility on this squad. They just have to figure it out together. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to learn how to play with each other, with 11 new faces on the roster.
Withers with a tough baseline drive, and he's fouled.
Just not a great closeout. The closeout wasn't under control and gave up the baseline. But when you're that athletic, as Arkansas is, you can make a mistake like that and still get back and bother the shot.
So Jalen Withers at the line. 17 points against Bellarmine, 15 against Wright State, but then in the last game against App State, fouled out in 10 minutes. No points, no rebounds in 10 minutes. If Louisville is going to be competitive in the ACC, this guy's got to be one of their best players, right?
No question. I think it's L. Ellis first, Jalen Withers second. Mike James, the freshman from Orlando, has had a really good start to his season individually. But Jalen Withers, you mentioned he's from Charlotte, North Carolina. His dad is Curtis Withers, who was a great player. It's called Charlotte now, but back when Curtis Withers played there, it was UNC Charlotte. And he was an absolute beast. But Jalen, he is a talented, versatile, athletic big guy that is really good in the paint.
Black back into the game for Arkansas. Davis for three.
Now Arkansas moved the ball there, but Louisville was in man-to-man, but it looked like a zone because there was no player movement. There was ball movement, but no player movement.
And a missed three by Huntley Hatfield.
Huntley Hatfield transferred in from Tennessee. Had some good games for the Vols.
Davis isolated. Yep. Walsh. And fouled underneath the bucket to send us to a timeout. Low scoring start. Arkansas 8, Louisville 5. Anthony Black going 94 feet on the beach with Billis.
He was so jealous of my hair.
Better than kids imitating coaches yelling at them. The hair's magnificent. The game is pretty good as well. Anthony Black led the United States to a gold at the FIBA Americas tournament in Mexico in June. Again, a guy who really looks for his teammates and versatile offensively and defensively.
Yeah, that's a good point on the defense. He played for David Peavy at Duncanville, Arkansas, and Paul Biancardi, who is as good a talent evaluator as you are ever going to find, was telling me about his defensive potential. Paul watched him a lot in high school and said his ability to sit down in a stance and really guard multiple positions. He has the opportunity with his length and athleticism to be a special player.
All three, the top three recruited freshmen for Arkansas are all projected in some mock drafts as lottery picks. That is Anthony Black, Jordan Walsh, and one whose name we haven't mentioned yet because he hasn't played yet for Arkansas is Nick Smith Jr., the USA Today High School Player of the Year, who is nursing a knee. They're calling it right knee management. We have seen him practice the last couple of days, not full speed. He has not appeared in a regular season game, though, yet for the Hogs.
Nick Smith Jr. is dynamic. He's a downhill scorer that operates out of pick and rolls. He can really shoot it. But the thing that Eric Musselman will tell you that's most impressive about him is his competitiveness. He is a baller.
Inside, Sidney Curry, a guy who put up big numbers down the stretch last year for Louisville, but has been really quiet so far this year. Barely scoring, barely even getting attempts. And again, I know I've said it already. They need some scoring from their big guys. Look at this.
And that's why Arkansas has to keep attacking the basket. Put some pressure on the secondary and tertiary defenders for Louisville and test their help side defense. And there you see some of the special ability of one Anthony Black. He is a #1 point guard in the country last year. He's special.
Out of bounds, back to the Hogs, and it gives us a chance to see it again.
And the beauty is no wind on that hair, so the hair was behind him. Nice little hesitation move past J.J. Traynor. And Nick Smith Jr., that's not right knee management.
No.
That was a 36-inch vertical off the bench.
I was watching him a little bit during that last trip up the court. He is very engaged. He's like another assistant coach right now for them.
There are a lot of great staffs out there that do excellent scouting. Nobody's cornered the market on scouting, but I don't think I've seen any staff better at scouting than Arkansas and Eric Musselman and his staff. Just extraordinary the job they do scouting.
Black for 3. Do you mean scouting the team they're about to play or looking at recruits?
The team they're about to play. I mean, clearly getting 6 players in the top 100, the ESPN top 100, they know how to evaluate talent. And land it. But I was talking there, perhaps not artfully, about their ability to scout opponents and to communicate the scout to the team so that they can absorb it and execute it.
Well, here's a look at the 6-player freshman class, all of them in the top 100. The top 3 projected as potential lottery picks in the NBA draft. I know that. I don't know much, but I know this. Bud Walton Arena is going to be a scene this season.
Oh, and always. That's one of the few just great venues in America I've not yet been to.
You've never been there?
I have not been there. I've had Arkansas games on the road and in tournaments, but I have never been to Fayetteville for a game. I've been to the state of Arkansas, but I cannot wait to get to Fayetteville and experience that.
On the off chance that our boss David Seisler is watching, why don't we rectify that situation?
Was that a plaintive wail to send me to Fayetteville? I would love to go.
Only if I get to go with. Can I come with? I haven't been there in a long time.
And one, because there are so many barbecue joints that I've seen on diners, drive-ins, and dives that are in Arkansas. But I'd really like to go to Bud Walton. I mean, they traveled, Arkansas traveled an incredible crew here.
Yeah. Council gets his own miss. Gets it again. And Makai Mitchell's going to the free throw line.
Playing volleyball on the glass as you take a look at all the Pig Suey fans. You should have seen them last night at the Maui Gym Maui Invitational Banquet, where Barry Dunning Jr., look, they're just keeping that ball alive. Council keeps it alive, and then Mitchell winds up with it, gets to the free throw line. But even though Barry Dunning Jr., the freshman from Mobile, Alabama, ranked 78th in the ESPN 100, he won, and I don't think it was necessarily an upset, won the hula contest last night, beating Kylan Boswell from Arizona, who is part Samoan. And I thought the #1 seed going into the hula contest. Vegas had him the prohibitive favorite, but Barry Dunning Jr., it was done by crowd applause, and nobody was going to deny the Arkansas fans in that one. They were loud.
It is just so great to see how the fan bases, and obviously, hey, it's Maui, it's Thanksgiving. There's a lot of good reasons to come to this tournament, but we saw it in the first game with Texas Tech and Creighton. Now we see it with Louisville and Arkansas. So great to see 8 different fan bases all gathering here in one spot.
And this is such a great environment for a game. It's like a souped-up high school gym.
Yeah. Good help there by Trainer. And for people who have never been here, they empty the gym after every game. You buy a ticket for your team's game, about a half an hour between games. It only seats, I think, 2,400. They empty the gym, and in comes the next group for the next game.
And it is brutal to wait outside in these conditions to get into the game.
Boy, that's a shot that the Louisville staff can live with. If Arkansas is going to take that. What a catch. James finds Els. Els for 3.
And yes. That's the shot that they cannot allow. If you give El Ellis, who led the nation in scoring in junior college, you give him a standstill 3, he's going to nail those. He's averaging 24 points a game for a reason.
29 in back-to-back games coming into this one.
And that's on the scouting report for Arkansas. Turn El Ellis into a driver. Anthony Black at 6'7" and long can see over the top of defenses. There it is.
Inside, Makai Mitchell.
Just beautiful in that slot pick and roll. Mitchell with the screen and the immediate dive to the basket. And because Black can see over the top, he can deliver that pass.
Everything for Louisville starts with Els. Got a good defender on him in Devo Davis. Deep one. And the rebound to Council. A gamble by Els. And Council makes him pay.
Boy, what a nice adjustment by Ricky Council. Looked like that shot might be blocked with the right hand. Moved it to his left to kiss it off the glass. Not quite Jordan in the finals, but pretty dang good. Good defense by Anthony Black on that little flex cut underneath.
And a bump and a foul to take us to a timeout with 7:29 to go. El Ellis doing everything that he can to try to allow the Cardinals to give the Razorbacks a game. Arkansas, though, with so many weapons. Ricky Council, their leading scorer on the season so far. More island flavor here in Maui. The Maui Jim Maui Invitational, and not the only tournament going on, of course, during Feast Week. It's the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis, featuring the third-ranked team in the nation, the Kansas Jayhawks, and a lot of good programs down there. Our buddies John Shambi and Jimmy Dykes did the Kentucky-Gonzaga game last night. The Zags beating the Cats, and they got on a red eye and then got on another one, and I think got on another one to go from Spokane down to Nassau. They'll freshen up for a bit, and they'll be one of the two teams, one of the two crews bringing you great basketball from the Bahamas.
Another brutal assignment for Boog and Jimmy Dykes. And Jimmy Dykes on the flights out from Spokane, I'm sure, was preparing his interview with a seal. The seal's name is Sebastian, and Sebastian and Jimmy have quite the relationship.
Yes.
They play in each other's member guest.
Roosevelt Wheeler, too strong off the glass. Big 6'11" sophomore from Richmond, Virginia.
Heck of a recovery by Ricky Council IV to block that shot that Trainer had right next to the basket.
Black for three.
Well, just a little
long two.
Double horn set to lift up the defense and give some driving lanes, but Anthony Black just able to pull up and knock that shot down. He has got so much ability.
Got 7 points and a couple of assists already.
And there he is, taking away that little handoff, guarding Mike James. I really like his ability at both ends of the floor.
Boy, that's a tough one.
Yeah, we got Mitchell. He's grabbing the shirt on the block out. A little too much laundry.
That's Mikal Mitchell with the foul. So Roosevelt Wheeler going to the line. And into the game comes Hersey Miller, a transfer from Tennessee State, a sophomore out of Los Angeles, the backup point guard. He spells L's here and there. And the son of rapper Master P into the game. Wheeler gets his own miss. Wide open. And a missed three.
That was
Kamari Lands.
That was an above the rim rebound.
Yeah. Arkansas might lead the country in above the rim this year. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. And a timeout for Kenny Payne in Louisville. Anthony Black is a one-man show right now.
Well, he's on 94 feet. Of course.
And time now for our play of the game, Mr. Billis, brought to you by Continental Tire.
Oh, it's got to be Anthony Black. Great hesitation move, taking it to the rim. That's just a big-time move and a smart play by Jalen Withers to get out of the way. The days of posterization are over. Now it'd be an NFT.
Yes.
Like there are no posters anymore. No. That's so old school. That was when we were kids.
What was your...
I do have breaking news, though, Dan. Jimmy Dykes, who is monitoring our every word, has let me know that Sebastian is a sea lion, not a seal, and that I owe a profound apology to Sebastian for misidentifying him.
Don't you feel foolish?
I feel very foolish.
What was your go-to, your favorite basketball poster on your wall as a kid?
I had Kareem shooting a skyhook over Nate Thurman and using an arm bar to keep him away. And if you remember Nate Thurman, one of the great physical specimens and outstanding players of all time.
Mikel Mitchell is going to the line. Arkansas's back in a groove now with the offensive end.
My other go-to posters were all the Nike posters, like the Supreme Court and Iceman.
Iceman, that was mine.
Iceman was awesome. There were so many great ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be awesome if Nike would bring those things back. And if they could do it before the PK 85 and the PK Legacy in Portland next week, that would be ideal. We also have to, do we beg?
Plead. Well, I don't know what you're begging for. Tell me first.
Getting access to the Nike employee store while we're there.
Yeah, you can beg for that.
Yeah, that will be.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything publicly. Maybe Sebastian, the Sea Lion, could make a phone call if Jimmy Dykes will leave him alone for 5 minutes. I wonder if those two are sharing a suite at the Atlantis.
Another great tournament. You and I have had the privilege of doing that tournament a number of times during Feast Week as well.
It's actually Feast Month now.
Yeah, it's turning into it.
It's awesome. Arkansas really starting to contest everything. Look how far Louisville had to start their offense. That drive, even though he got fouled, and Mitchell probably should have left that one alone, try to let him score over the top of Black, but that was a 2-dribble drive for James because he had to start it so far out.
Mike James and Anthony Black have been talking to one another quite a bit at both ends of the court right now. Black's having a great game, and he's made life hard on James, who's a terrific player in his own right. A redshirt freshman from Orlando, missed all of last year with a torn Achilles, but they've been going at one another verbally quite a bit up and down the court.
Well, it's mostly been about the experience here in Maui. Have you guys been to the beach yet? We went on a sunset cruise. How about you guys?
Do you know the difference between a seal and a sea lion?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
One of two for James.
And one of the great things, of the many great things about the Maui Jim Maui Invitational, are we get Maui Jim sunglasses. And I'm sure that Boog and Jimmy Dykes are going to have riding mowers from Bad Boy Mowers. Great pass.
And another highlight reel play. Ricky Council, the fourth.
With that double almost horn set where everybody's up on the elbows. You got two players on each elbow. That raises up that Louisville defense and opens up some cutting lanes, driving lanes. That's a good-looking set from Arkansas and Eric Musselman.
A 12-1 run right now for the Hogs.
Now, horn set usually would have a guy on each elbow and one in each corner, but look how the defense is lifted up, and then you get a little back pick and just not well guarded by Brandon Huntley Hatfield. You got to step in there. He's not going to take that pass out of the air. You got to step in and get a body between the cutter and the basket.
And Withers gets the bounce on the first free throw. Arkansas is going to have dunk after dunk after dunk all season long with the way they share it and the way they jump.
And as this team gets older and more mature together, and when they get, you just saw him, Nick Smith Jr., you put that kind of weapon into this arsenal. Arkansas has got the ability. They're top 10 now. They've got the ability to stay top 10. They're going to have their freshman moments, and especially in a tough league like the SEC, a little staggered ball screen up top. You got shooters in both ends. They got to stay wide.
Davis to Black. And he'll head to the line. He's got so many, different moves.
And different gears.
Yeah, hesitation, stop and go. New school stuff, old school stuff. He's got a lot of different ways to beat you.
And that's a great point about his ability to change pace, to change speed, direction. That hesitation move, and then he can blast off of it. With the hesitation, you get the defender just to stand up a little bit and then go. And it is not easy to do. You not only have to have a great handle, but you've got to have jets too.
Hair's pretty good.
Pretty good. What would you give for that? I still have all my hair. It's in a little baggie in my bathroom drawer. I take it out and look at it every once in a while.
Boy, your wife's a lucky woman.
Keep telling her that.
Under 4 to play in the first half. Arkansas by 13. And look at the ball pressure.
Devo Davis can really guard.
Kamari Lands, the freshman from Indianapolis, buries a long 2.
But look at what they had to do. Kamari Lands got off to a rough start. He was 0 of 11 in his first couple of games. But he averaged 33 points a game at Hillcrest Prep.
Yeah, so that is his first made field goal of the season. And a travel is called. That is Jalen Graham, a transfer from Arizona State. 3:25 to go in the first half. Arkansas leading Louisville by 11.
What a waste. It's so much better when you can look at it whenever you want to. I don't know if Sean Farnham, played at UCLA.
Yes.
In the shadow of the Wizard of Westwood. I wonder if Sean knows that Jordan Cornette is the all-time leading shot blocker at Notre Dame.
I've not heard that before.
It's funny. I hear it a lot, mostly from Jordan Cornette. I get daily text messages to remind me.
Louisville just 18 points in almost 17 minutes. They're shooting 27% from the floor. And again, you give Arkansas some of the credit for that. Kenny Payne knows that.
Most of the credit, I would say, with the length and athleticism. And the length of these defenders, with the average wingspan of this team being 6'9". I wonder if that includes all the walk-ons at the end of the bench. This is a lengthy, athletic defensive team.
I'll tell you what, it's not just Kenny Payne. You look at the bench, he's got Danny Manning on his staff. He's got Nolan Smith on his staff. That's also Josh Jameson there, who knew Kenny Payne from back in the days at Oregon. But they've also got Milt Wagner, Reese Gaines. I mean, you put the coaching staff of Louisville in its prime, they might be ranked #1 in the country if you had a coach's game.
Yeah, Danny Manning coached my son, Anthony, at Wake Forest. And Danny was asked one time if we had played one-on-one against our sons, how we would do. And Danny immediately said, they'd kill us. And they're like, why? Weren't you guys better players? He goes, we're 58 years old.
Walsh from the corner. Danny Manning's one of those right up there with LaFonso Ellis as, nicest people you'll ever meet.
And honestly, to have Danny Manning as a role model for your son, you couldn't ask for any more. Just one of the great people, obviously one of the great players of all time, but one of the great people.
Oh, Withers made a really good defensive play, and glad to see him get up. He hit the court hard. Wow.
Anthony Black not afraid to throw that ball up, and looked like there was a foul. Walsh grabbed him with his left arm by the left shoulder, it looked like.
Back to Kenny Payne and Danny Manning for a moment. Both outstanding people, both guys who obviously had phenomenal careers as players. If you're a big guy, these are two guys who know a lot about developing big guys.
No question. And Danny Manning was on Bill Self's staff at Kansas and did an extraordinary job coaching the big guys. I mean, he's forgotten more about basketball than most basketball people will ever know.
Well, for all of the highlights and the dunks and the oohs and ahs, it's an 8-point game with 2.5 to go in the first half.
And Louisville's been playing tough. But I think that Arkansas has to be more resolute on the offensive end to get the ball into the paint. They've been throwing around the perimeter. They've taken some and settled for some jump shots. But I think their ability to attack the paint, I'd be telling my team, get flowers, man. There are flowers in the paint. Go get your flowers.
Kel Mitchell getting some pretty good minutes. The Louisville coaches were screaming that Mitchell's toes were over the free throw line. They were screaming it before the free throw was taken that he was over the line. All of them were. Not seen or not called. And now Mitchell has backed off.
Maybe we see a replay of that. I don't usually inspect the free throw line.
The only reason I saw it is all the coaches jumped up at once and were all pleading their case at the same time.
Yeah, the shot is much easier at 14 feet 10 inches than it is from 15.
Lands, makes the three, and it's a 7-point game.
Boy, for a guy that hadn't really made a shot coming into this game, Kamari Lands has taken a couple from that spot with confidence. Good pass.
Council wide open. Air ball. And it belongs to the Cardinals.
Well, you can't be more wide open. And didn't even draw iron. So this last 2 minutes, essentially, of the first half, 156. These are important minutes. Can Arkansas stretch this 7-point lead, or can Louisville cut into it and make this a one-possession game, perhaps, going into halftime?
Louisville on an 8-2 run right now, and Ellis got a switch.
And he's got to drive this one.
And he's going to. Deflected. Lands feeling it right now, has made a couple of shots, and he earns a trip to the line.
Well, Jordan Walsh is a really good defender, but he was trying to keep the ball to his side instead of squaring up and taking away paint. See how he's playing him to the side, basically influencing to the sideline. That means Mitchell's got to come off the corner, and that could have been a pass for a corner three. You never want to come off a corner three-point shooter.
Lands, a guy who committed to Louisville when Chris Mack was still the coach. Kenny Payne retained him. Kenny Payne undoubtedly had to do a lot of work. A number of the players from last year stayed. And obviously, they were free to go wherever they wanted to at the end of last season. But Withers and Traynor and James and Lands, and they've got it down to 5.
Important offensive possession for Arkansas here.
Walsh for 3. And their first points in about 5 minutes.
Pretty simple. Anthony Black just uses a ball screen in the middle third. The defense comes off to help on that little drive, and he didn't just blast off it, used some pace.
Ellis, yeah, double dribble, got it kind of caught up on his thigh and turns it over.
Those are the kind of turnovers obviously frustrating Kenny Payne. Boy, the Arkansas and Louisville staffs wearing identical shirts.
Makai Mitchell. Into his brother Mikal. Little push there from Curry. Shot clock at 10. Council behind the back, tough pull-up. Rebound Black.
He's got a lot of game, doesn't he?
Yep.
6'7" point guard that can see over the top.
Deflected away by Curry. And then a bounce pass, he turns it over, and Arkansas is going to get a freebie. What a missed opportunity there for the Cardinals.
Brother to brother.
Ellis. Wow. What a shot at the end of the half. Ellis still down.
Boy, with no whistle. Ton of contact. What a great finish off the glass by Ellis. Well, that was a big bucket. That looked like it was going to be a 10-point lead for Arkansas at halftime, but Louisville able to get that tough bucket, ton of contact, and still able to get it in.
Jordan Cornette, Sean Farnham, all yours. Welcome back to the beautiful island of Maui, our home, and back here for the first time in 3 years for the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. After a year in Asheville, North Carolina, and a year in Las Vegas, now we are back in Hawaii, where it feels like this is right. Like this is the spot this tournament has always been in, should always be in. We're happy to come back here all the time. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Anthony Black certainly enjoys playing basketball in the islands as well.
Well, it does feel right being back there, except for your shirt. But Anthony Black, to your point, in the first half had 12 points. He was the only player in double figures, went 4 of 5 from the field, 3 assists, Arkansas had 8 turnovers in that first half. Now, those 8 turnovers led to 7 points for Louisville. And Louisville had 9 points in transition on the break. I think this first 4 minutes of the second half are going to be extraordinarily important for Louisville. Can Arkansas stretch this lead out a little bit, or can Louisville chop into it and make it a one-possession game as they go into the first immediate timeout? But I think Arkansas has to be stronger getting the ball into the paint in this second half, not settle for as many jumpers, put a little more pressure on this Louisville defense.
Louisville ball to start the second half. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. The winner to play Creighton in a semifinal tomorrow. The loser will play Texas Tech.
Devo Davis on L. Ellis.
Ooh, and a missed opportunity. A nice idea, but Huntley, Hatfield, and James could not connect.
Just an open side, a dribble at. Dribbling at the corner, and the corner man goes backdoor. Just disrupted by Arkansas. Should have been a layup.
Now Anthony Black had such a spectacular first half for the Hogs. High arcing corner three settles in for Council. James, 18 minutes of court time in the first half, did not attempt a field goal, so give Black some credit at the defensive end as well, as Ellis knocks down a three.
You know, just a simple little ball screen out top in the slot. And Jordan Walsh just got to get, they're going to switch. He's got to get up there earlier and get a hand up, force L. Ellis to put that ball in the deck and turn him into a driver.
Walsh shuffled the feet a little bit, just got going a little bit too quickly. And Walsh is coming out, an early sub here, just a minute 11 into the second half. Trevin Brazil is into the game for the Hogs.
Yeah, probably less about the last turnover and more about the defensive mistake, not getting up on L. Ellis and forcing him to put the ball on the deck. And Trevin Brazil didn't play much in the first half, picked up 2 fouls. And Eric Musselman, I'm sure, not wanting him to pick up a third in the first half.
And Ellis, a little bit out of control, turns it over. And Arkansas, in reality, a team with 6 starters, right? Brazil is starter good, and that's not even mentioning Nick Smith.
Well, you just mentioned Nick Smith.
Oh, sorry. Makai Mitchell. Ooh. Yeah, easy call. Withers absorbing the contact.
Yeah, that's one where just give the ball up. If you're not going to take that short little jumper, just give it up, because that's too easy of a play to pick up that charge.
You talked about Brandon Huntley Hatfield, a big-time recruit to Tennessee, transfers now to Louisville. What is Kenny Payne as Withers knocks down the jumper? You know, Kenny Payne's talked about restoring the confidence of some of these guys, who, whether it was Huntley Hatfield at Tennessee last year, Withers, trainer at Louisville, he's trying to restore the confidence of some of these guys.
Well, yeah, Huntley Hatfield, you know, he wasn't part of this Louisville program last year. You know, he's still a really young player. He reclassed to go to Tennessee. And then, you know, he played some. He's very talented, very skilled, with a good feel. But this has been a good start to the second half for Louisville. You just have to take advantage of it. Not only get the stop, but add to it by getting a score at the other end. You know, Arkansas, even though Louisville is still within 2 possessions, there's been a lead. You know, Arkansas has played with a lead the whole game.
James. And wide left on the three-point attempt, back over to Arkansas.
That might have been, you know, Anthony Black with those long arms at 6'7" was closing out. That might have been better. Just shot fake, one dribble pull up, or shot fake, try to get to the rim, draw the defense, draw some help. I still think Arkansas needs to start getting downhill, getting into the lane, drawing help, and then playing out of it. Everything's been on perimeter jumpers. I think that plays right into the hands of Louisville to stay in this game and stay within striking distance.
No call on the bump. Ellis down, and back come the Hogs, maybe with an advantage here. Black for the alley-oop and a foul call in the act of shooting. So Black is heading to the line.
It's a smart play by Ricky Council not to over-penetrate here. Draws two defenders, just throws it up, and just caught his arm there at the end. The call was late because the referee was just trying to let the play finish. You don't get extra credit for calling it early.
Well, I asked you in the first game about the expectations around Creighton. Are they deserved? What's their ceiling? Same question for Arkansas. This is a bit more of a work in progress because more young players, more newcomers than the Blue Jays have. But boy, if Eric Musselman, if this group can mesh for him, the ceiling feels sky high for them.
They do have a really high ceiling. I think the expectations have to be a little bit different for Creighton versus Arkansas. Creighton's an older, experienced team and experienced together. Arkansas is super athletic, super talented, but young 11 newcomers. So I think they're certainly worthy of the top 10 ranking, but I wouldn't say that they're going to necessarily stay. There are going to be some ups and downs during the course of the year, which you'd expect from a young team. There's nothing wrong with that. It's where they wind up that's going to be the important part, and they can wind up at a really high level.
This Arkansas team kind of feels like a Kentucky team in recent years, with a huge recruiting class, some transfers to help out as well, though the transfers they've got this year are spectacular, but a lot of young guys in key roles. Great ball movement. Council into Mitchell.
Little roll replace action. Anthony Black was coming up on the wing. He was available, but a great little drop off on the dive off the ball screen. Really well executed by Arkansas.
And all of a sudden it's up to a 10-point lead. Knocked out of bounds by Devo Davis. Hogs by 10 early second half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by more Feast Week action, the Vivid Seats Empire Classic, with a couple of games coming your way tonight. Syracuse and Richmond on ESPN2, then St. John's and Temple on ESPNU. Consolation game and championship game tomorrow with Dave O'Brien and John Crispin handling the call at the Barclays Center.
Plays St. John's with Andre Curbelo and Posh Alexander, and then Temple has gotten off to a terrific start under Aaron McKee. Damian Dunn is their top scorer, averaging over 20 points per game. Temple is a good basketball team.
Here with the Jim Maui Invitational, Dan Schulman, Jay Billis. Our second game of the day, Creighton defeating Texas Tech by 11 in the first one. Arkansas up on Louisville by 10. The Cardinals at 0-3, 3 one-point losses at home to mid-major programs. Arkansas 3-0 on the season.
Well, the job Devo Davis is doing on El Ellis has really been impressive, making it tough for him to catch the ball. He's 4 of 12. It's not the amount of points. He's got 11 points. It's how difficult those points have been. He's not getting anything easy. And aside from a couple of defensive mistakes that gave him an open shot, Arkansas has done a really good job of turning him into a driver.
And Ellis much more of a scorer than a, quote, true point guard, a guy who's going to fill it up. So he's got a really difficult job. He's got an enormous job on this Louisville team right now, trying to score and facilitate all at the same time.
Well, he has to score, and as a point guard, you hear about pass first and making teammates better. Really the only way that Louisville is going to reach its potential being competitive against the schedule is playing. El Ellis has to score.
He wears number 3 because he is Elbert Ellis III. Nice look here, Trainer. A good look at a 3, and they got it down to 7.
Really smart play by El Ellis there. Trevin Brazil came out to double, and he came out from distance, and Ellis just took it sideways and threw back to a wide open Trainer. Really smart.
And a zone look now from the Cardinals.
2-3, Sidney Curry in the middle. Going to try to get into those gaps.
Davis no. Makai Mitchell with a follow. Offensive foul. Number 3.
Now take a look at Ellis here. Brazil comes off of Trainer here, and he just takes it all the way to the left and throws it back to Trainer, who had looped around and was wide open for that jumper. really smart play by L. Ellis to exploit that double attempt by Arkansas to get the ball out of his hands.
Makai Mitchell to the bench with his third foul. His twin brother Mikal back in his spot.
Interchangeable Mitchells.
Ball screen up top by Curry. Trainer right at Brazil. Nicely done.
Yeah, some good plays stacked together by J.J. Trainer.
He's having a nice game. He's up to 9 right now. Came into the game averaging 4.
Sticking in this zone, wings coming up. Trainer and James.
Wow, tough catch in traffic, and the kick to Black. Got it.
Boy, just getting the ball along the baseline tends to collapse that defense the same way that getting into the middle of the zone you expect to. And Anthony Black's having himself a really nice game here in his first ever Maui Invitational ball game.
5 for 6 from the floor, 3 for 4 from 3, 17 points.
Good deflection there by Anthony Black. .16 on the shot clock, Louisville ball. The length, a steal by Black, and a deflection by Ellis to prevent an easy bucket. I think Eric Musselman's wondering, Devo, why are you taking it between your legs? Take it to the rim. Terrific job reading the passer and taking it away, but Davis goes between his legs and tries to execute that pass. Just take it all the way to the rim. You had an angle.
A guy with a much bigger voice on this team is a returnee. Again, a lot of new faces, so he has stepped into more of a leadership role this year.
I think he's the only guy on the team to play in the last 2 Elite Eights. That's how much turnovers there's been. A little elevator play.
Kel Mitchell. Trainer giving up some size in this matchup, but he gets some help. Mitchell again.
I thought Mitchell should have shot that when he got it inside.
And Withers called for the push. Number 3 on Jalen Withers.
Arkansas getting into a little box set here. You think there might be a screen for the screener action. Oh, beautiful. Well, they just flared out of the tops. Got little screens to flare out the elbow players. And that left a wide open cut. Watch this after the screen, the little slip to the basket. Just not enough pressure on the ball from L. Ellis. You know, when you're guarding the ball out of bounds, you have to take away the basket, take away middle, make them throw out, not underneath. And L. Ellis just sort of fell asleep there and allowed that pass to go to the screener, Anthony Black.
Trainer just picked up his 3rd foul. He'll go to the bench. Foul trouble starting to creep into things here for Louisville in the second half. And Anthony Black with his 20th point of the game. Jay, he scored a total of 18 in the first 3 games of the season for the Hawks. He's got 20 already today. Again, good ball pressure by Devo Davis. James splits the defense, can't finish it. All kinds of contact under the glass, and the Hogs in transition.
Those were some blockouts on the other end.
Boy, I'll tell you, Ellis must be in unbelievable shape to play as many minutes at the pace as he does for Louisville. And away from the ball, a foul against Arkansas.
Yeah, the amount of work that L. Ellis has to do just to get open, given the defense that Devo Davis has put on him. Yeah, you're right. If he's got a Fitbit, he's put some steps on that thing.
They were picked 12th in the ACC. Again, it's the first year for Kenny Payne. And just trying to build that program back in the direction of where it has been for so many years at various points.
Flex action. LL is coming off the downscreen, but Davis right with him on the catch.
Lands. Turnaround fadeaway. Tough shot.
And he's made some tough ones in this game. Kamari Lands, this has been by far his best game. He didn't hit a field goal in the first three. He was 0 for 11, 0 from 8 from 3. But he's made some really nice plays in this game. Good pass.
What a play. You talk about a guy with vision and height and the ability and the willingness to get everybody involved.
Well, that was just a ball screen roll replace action, and then just that pass to the opposite corner. That was a next level pass by Anthony Black.
His 4th assist. Ellis deflected out of bounds by Walsh. It'll be Louisville ball when we come back. Anthony Black has been putting on a show here in Maui. A 12-point lead for Arkansas.
Don't jump. You've got a lot to live for.
Games out there over the last 2 days. The Baylor, Illinois, UCLA, Virginia winning it, so he called those 2 games. We are told Schriffen has landed in the islands, and he, along with Mr. Fishback, delightful guy. Got a chance to get to know him a couple of days ago at practice. They'll be calling the night games tonight.
Ridiculously nice.
Yeah.
Damian Fishback.
Yeah, refreshing change in an analyst. Great listening skills. 12-point lead for Arkansas. What a field, by the way. 5 ranked teams. We had a ranked matchup at the first game today, Creighton and Texas Tech. And, you know, the upside of Creighton, the upside of Arkansas, San Diego State, Brian Dutch's program. I mean, you know, how good are they?
San Diego State is outstanding. They're great defensively.
Ooh, speaking of great defensively, Makel Mitchell with another block, and his teammates trying to keep him from getting a little bit too overexcited.
Makel Mitchell has provided some really good minutes in this game for Arkansas. He's had 6 rebounds. That's his 2nd block, and that's a basket-saving block. And Wheeler almost took him out of the play, but he recovered to wipe that shot away. And now Anthony Black forces a turnover, knocking it off of Mike James. Louisville has been in a zone at times. And the last possession, they had Walsh in the middle of that zone, got it into the middle, and immediately hit the baseline. And so you've got to attack the paint. I'm not sure that Arkansas, whether it's been man or zone, has attacked the paint as fervently as they need to. And I think as they mature, you'll see a lot more paint touches from this team.
Ooh. And Musselman upset there. Devo Davis not looking at the ball handler in the council. Didn't know the pass was coming. When Nick Smith gets healthy, I mean, he's so good, fitting in is the wrong term, but how does he fit in? How do they adjust to a player of that talent joining the team?
I think the rest of the guys are going to have to get used to a player that can score at all 3 levels and has a superstar ability, because he's a superstar.
Great follow there by Wheeler. For people who haven't seen Nick Smith Jr., what does he do best?
He is incredibly competitive, plays as hard as anybody you'll see coming out of high school. He's an excellent defender, really fierce on the defensive end, and just a dynamic downhill scorer that's a mismatch. He can create his own shot. He can knock down threes. I think once you see him, everybody will realize, you can sit and try to analyze it all you want to. That dude can just ball.
What a hustle play there by Devo Davis, and 2 Cardinals. They were both out ahead of the pack, and Kenny Payne is saying, one of you go get the ball. They both thought the other guy was going to get the ball and forward it.
Yeah, just a great play to get on the deck. Ball gets knocked away, and nobody's able to grab it, but Devo Davis dives. And remember, you can slide without walking when you dive on the floor. You can't just roll over, though. You can't roll over and try to get up. That would be a walk, but that's a great play by Devo Davis.
And I think the issue was, should there have been
reset.
a clock reset, change of possession? The answer is no, so they inbound with 7 on the clock. Black taking matters into his own hands, and that plan has gone pretty well here this afternoon.
An exhibit A of why you want to attack the paint. With that length and athleticism, get into the paint, draw help, and then play.
Ellis. Wheeler lost it.
That looked like more of a frustration shot by Ellis. He hasn't had anything open and just essentially took a bad one without making the defense work.
Black slips.
Got to pick it up.
And is fouled. Huntley Hatfield perhaps, getting in there with a little bit too much exuberance. Well, how'd you like to have his future?
His present is pretty good.
Withers coming back in for James. Cal Mitchell. And if it's Withers, it's his 4th.
You keep trying to get the ball to the rim. That's going to put this Louisville defense at a decision and put Arkansas at the free throw line.
And for the 2nd game in a row, Withers limited by foul trouble. Not to the same extent as in their last game against App State, but it looks like he's coming back out of the game. He just checked in, coming right back out. Here comes James, here comes Traynor. And 1 of 2 for Cal Mitchell.
Oh, full court pressure.
Lands floater. He's a guy, and they're looking for some offense. Kamari Lands, and again, didn't make a shot his first 3 games, but you talked about the high school numbers. He's a guy who looks like he can help them in the scoring department.
No question. I mean, he can shoot it, put it on the deck. Good athlete. Just needs to continue to play with confidence. I mean, it's good that after, the 0-11 start, he wasn't shaken from a confidence standpoint. There, the defense forcing Ellis to turn it over, just dribble it off his foot.
One thing that Arkansas has done very well in the early going this year is force turnovers. They have forced 64 in the first 3 games, and they have forced 14 so far here today. 8 of them here in the second half.
And with the depth Arkansas has, and that depth will improve once they get Nick Smith Jr. back. But they can play their tails off for 5 minutes, then come out, take a blow. They can keep somebody fresh on the floor, and with all their athleticism and length, just keep coming at you.
SEC is going to be fun this year, don't you think?
It's fun every year, but absolutely. Kentucky's got some work to do to figure some things out. They haven't played as well as I think anybody expected. Getting beat in Spokane by Gonzaga in a game where they made a little bit of a run in the second half and put a tiny bit of game pressure, but Gonzaga played with no pressure on the whole game.
Lands all by himself.
Where's he going?
And turns it over. 1 on 4, and he just kept going. And Kenny Payne pleading with him. And what are you doing? Nothing there.
That is the coach's lament. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
And then the player goes, I don't
know. Louisville staying in this zone.
We had a film session one time when I was a player, and Coach K asked one of the players, what were you thinking here? And I think it was a rhetorical question.
Right.
And the player said, Coach, I don't know what I was thinking.
At least he was honest. And again, as we told you, Arkansas might lead the country in above the rim. Mikel Mitchell on the receiving end.
Attack the paint, something good happens.
I think they're going to see a lot of zone this year too. So, you know, the better they can figure out playing against the zone, the better they'll be.
Boy, it looked like James had that ball on his hip. Attack the paint, draw help. Two players come, just throw it up to the rim. And you're right. Get used to the hogs above the rim.
Well, one of the excursions for the Hogs, a little surfing. Must get down in a stance. Have you ever surfed?
I surfed when I was a kid.
Oh, so you can actually surf.
My Hawaiian name is Kunu.
Oh.
Yeah, look, Muss is about to take out a family of 4 here. But you're right, he was in a defensive stance.
Yeah. How about that? The last SEC team to win out here in Valley, Kentucky, 29 years ago.
Is Jamal Mashburn on that team? That's a while back.
Could be.
Probably had Tony Delk at least. Some of the guys that might have been older players on that 96 team that Rick Pitino took to the championship.
Boy, Mike James is a really good player, and Anthony Black has just put a blanket on him today. Has not let him get free for anything.
Look out.
Council's free.
This is going to be one exciting Arkansas team.
Yeah.
And you get them in the open court, it's going to be highlight reel.
Yeah, good luck getting a ticket at Bud Walton.
What was your line here, Dan? When pigs fly?
That was Ivan Sokolsky, our statistician.
I like that one. Hello, Hogs. And that's a big-time dunk, but it's still second to Trevin Brazil, what he did a couple games ago, which I'm not sure there was an Instagram feed in the world that didn't see that done.
Right. Devo Davis just picked up his 4th foul. He's gone to the bench.
That might be bad news for L. Ellis. Now he's got Anthony Black on him. Looking at all that length. It's a different challenge.
Ellis needs some help. Puts it up. James gets it back.
Boy, good closeout just to take away that shot. He gave up the drive fine, but take away that shot.
And now Musselman out of the coach's box, and one of the officials blows his whistle and asks him to get back in. He's too far up the court.
Well, you know, all the coaches should stay in the coaching box. Not that hard.
So I think that was just a warning.
Yeah.
And
the coaches get a warning. The players get a technical for flopping. Well, the rules committee never says we have to get coaches box violations out of our game.
And another turnover. And another dunk. Mikel Mitchell.
Now, Arkansas has worn down Louisville. This is where the depth and athleticism of Arkansas, it's like body blows in a prize fight. It's taken its toll.
Kenny Payne feeling it too. Well, when Arkansas gets rolling, they get rolling, and they have done it in a variety of ways. But again, sharing the ball, and when they turn Louisville over, Jay, and get out in transition, forget about it.
Yeah, 19 points off turnovers, but it's really last several minutes been the cumulative effect of the pressure throughout the course of the game. I think Arkansas has really worn Louisville down late in this ball game, and what a great performance by Anthony Black. 22 points, 5 assists, 3 steals. He's added in a few rebounds, and then Mikel Mitchell have combined for 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Those two brothers have put up a very nice performance in this game against Louisville. Anthony Black's done it. After Devo Davis went out with that fourth foul, he's done a really nice job on L. Ellis, forcing him to his weak hand.
How about that? Makel Mitchell deflects the ball away in the backcourt, runs the floor, and flushes it at the other end.
And I'm not sure how much Arkansas expected to play Makel Mitchell, and he's been excellent. Well, this has turned into layup lines for Arkansas.
Last 4 field goals are all dunks for the Hogs.
See how Anthony Black sending L. Ellis to his weak hand, forcing him to his left and then knocking the ball away. Yet another turnover and run out.
And a lay-in for Black, who's up to 26.
You cannot defend a run out. And Arkansas has just exploded late in this second half. And Louisville has been worn down by this relentless pressure from Arkansas throughout the course of this game. It's just been run out after run out. What is it, 4 or 5 in a row?
Yep, 5 fast break dunks or layups in a row. A 24-4 run. Louisville was down only 5 at the 14:26 mark. So basically the last 9 minutes, 14 seconds. Arkansas's outscored them by 20.
You know, for Louisville now, the challenge, look, it's pretty clear the Cardinals aren't going to win this game. But what's important, I think, to continue in building the program and building the culture is to stay together down the stretch here. Keep playing hard, keep playing together, and not to give up.
L. Ellis has gone to the bench. Again, there's another game tomorrow and another one the day after that. So Percy Miller is back in at the point. They got to save as many of Ellis's minutes as they can as Miller gets tripped up by Black. Ellis worked hard. He did everything he could, but the guys on the other side, they just got too many weapons.
You combine this length and athleticism with playing hard. Wow.
And you know what? A lot of these guys in this Arkansas team, they've got pro aspirations. They got pro futures, but you don't see any selfishness at all. They're sharing the ball beautifully. Look at another turnover. And it was off to the races again. This time it would have been Brazil, but he got fouled.
Boy, that was a great job by both Anthony Black, who can really defend. You know, Anthony Black and Jordan Walsh did such a good job of trapping the ball, and then Brazil was right there to shoot the gap. And but for that, you know, grab, Brazil would have had highlight film results at the other end.
I mean, SportsCenter top 10 might have 4 or 5 of theirs by the end of the night. These two have been going at it all day.
Good pass.
And another dunk.
But he's just got great vision and been picking apart Louisville.
A 17-0 run. Black now with 26 points and 6 assists. And the only 2 shots he's missed have been threes.
And they were early.
Yeah, and he's made 3 of them. What a sensational game. James. And a foul called on Black, who thought he had a clean block. So Mike James at the line for Louisville. He's a guy that Kenny Payne, you know, he's got that it factor, that energy, that leadership. Even though he didn't play last year, torn Achilles as a redshirt freshman, he's one of the key guys in this program.
I can't imagine how hard it is to come back from an Achilles tear, no matter how old you are. That is a really difficult injury to deal with and puts you out for such a long stretch of time. Getting your confidence back in your body is difficult.
Walsh was saying, throw it up to the rim. A turnover on the Hogs. 3:58 to go, all Arkansas. Zubin, Fonseth, thanks so much. Here, a one-sided second half. Louisville had gotten it down to a 5-point deficit early in the second half, and now the Hogs have just run wild, and Eric Musselman has basically emptied the bench. Devo Davis, I believe, still in there. Yeah, he's the only starter in the game right now for Arkansas as they start to think ahead a little bit to a matchup with another very good team in the Creighton Blue Jays tomorrow.
Yeah, they're really going to have to be disciplined defensively against Creighton. Creighton runs beautiful offense, and an experienced older team that is going to be a tremendous challenge for Arkansas. But we've seen the potential of these young Hogs, and a star. We've seen a star in Anthony Black. 26 points, 9 of 11 from the field, 6 assists, 2 steals. He hasn't blocked a shot yet. How unfortunate.
And a fairly easy choice for our player of the game, brought to you by Tommy Bahama. What an afternoon for him. And again, more points today, easily 26, than he had total, 18 in the Hogs' first 3 games of the season.
Well, there's a reason he was the #1 high school point guard in last year's class. A McDonald's All-American, played USA basketball. But his passing, he's got primary point guard skills at 6'7" with length, but his vision. I was most impressed, though, with his defense. I mean, his defense, when Devo Davis picked up his 4th and he had to switch out on L. Ellis, I mean, he totally shut off Ellis.
Lands baseline, fouled from behind by Joseph Pinion. A 6'5" freshman from Morrilton, Arkansas, another member of that 6-deep top 100 recruiting class that Eric Musselman has brought in. Darian Ford is also in the game, another member of the freshman class, 6'3" guard from Magnolia, Arkansas.
Yeah, and Pinion played hard on that play. He went after it, but I think as he matures, he'll learn that wasn't the place to foul, because Darian Ford was right there to draw the charge. And you foul in that situation, and it negates Ford's ability to make that play.
Interesting guy, too, in Jalen Graham, number 11. This guy had a very nice season at ASU, at Arizona State last year. He's from Phoenix, a senior transfer, but he has had just a bit role on this team so far early in the season.
Yeah, he's all Pac-12. Good cut.
You do appreciate a good cut. Pinion couldn't finish it, though, had it knocked away.
Boy, how about Arizona State the other night taking apart Michigan?
Beat them by, what, 24,
Just
25?
crushed them.
And another dunk. This one a freebie for Graham. Well, they're having fun.
Yeah, that's always a problem when you're the opposing team, if you're fun to play against. Yeah.
Kenny Payne getting ready to empty his bench. He's got 5 players at the scorers table. And there's going to be a lot of learning for this Louisville team this year. They're going to absorb some defeats. There's some talent here, and obviously there's great credibility on the coaching staff and great tradition in the program. But they're going to take some lumps this season. But they got another one tomorrow as well, of course. They will play Texas Tech and then play another game on Wednesday. And Kenny Payne has used the phrase, and he did it often, has done it often so far this year. There are only 2 things: you win or you learn. And his team will, he hopes, continue to learn from the games that they are playing. Look at that. So Arkansas's got 8 threes, and 17 of the other 18 either dunks or layups.
Well, that's why they're shooting over 70% in the second half. Yep. And most of those dunks have come off turnovers that they forced from just wearing down this Louisville team. Just that relentless pressure is going to get into your legs, and you're going to be facing, Arkansas is facing a tired Louisville team. midway through the second half.
They turned them over. They have turned them over 15 times in the second half in this game, 21 in the game. Ford surrounded, finds an open man. Look at that rebound. Look at that follow by Jalen Graham. Are you kidding me? And the shot will go down to the other end for Fabio Basili, a freshman from Orlando. Brazil is bumped by Devin Ree and will go to the free throw line.
Shot goes up. Nobody turns to box out. Everybody just looking to jump. And Jalen Graham takes advantage of it. I mean, nobody even thought about putting a body on Graham.
And that's a guy who's like the 9th man in their rotation right now.
Which just shows you how athletic and talented this Arkansas team is.
And 1 of 2 for Brazil.
And Barry Dunning Jr. from Mobile, Alabama, the 6'6" freshman, the reigning hula champion at the Maui Gym. I wonder if the hula contest has any relationship to like the par 3 contest at the Masters, that nobody's ever won the par 3 and won the Masters. I'm not sure. We'd have to do the research on hula champions and Maui Invitational, Maui Gym, Maui Invitational.
We'll get the analytics department. We'll get the research department on that. Now, he's only been the reigning hula champion for about 18 hours.
Hey,
right?
reigning is reigning.
There it is. Were you a judge?
No. But Kylan Boswell from Arizona all the way to the left and very smooth. I thought he was the prohibitive favorite.
Right. So there's some controversy.
I wouldn't say controversy. I mean, Barry Dunning won fair and square. It was announced at the beginning it was going to be judged by crowd applause. And that crowd made noise.
Yeah, 2 things. They have traveled a lot of people, and they are a noisy bunch.
Well, and I'm not sure that Arkansas fans get near the credit for being knowledgeable, hula aficionados. They know their hula.
Yeah, you've always said that. Minute 20 to go, and Arkansas in command. For those of you looking for Syracuse and Richmond, it is underway on ESPNU, and we'll take you there here as soon as this one is done.
Richmond and Syracuse have a history. Remember, Richmond was the first 15 seed to beat a 2 it was at 1991, I think. Beat Syracuse.
Yep.
Dick Tarrant was the coach. Beat Syracuse in the NCAA tournament.
And now even more ovations as Coach Musk goes even deeper into the bench, bringing his walk-ons in. Lawson Blake, Cade Arbogast getting a chance to get in the game. Boy, have they had some fun here today at the expense, unfortunately for the Cardinals, at the expense of Louisville, as Kenny Payne will make a couple of subs as well. Ashton Miles, DeVore, Aiden McCool into the game for the Cardinals. And Zan Payne as well, number 23, son of Kenny Payne, who had played for 4 years at Kentucky, but when his dad got the job in Louisville, decided to come and play one last season of college ball in Louisville. Oh, shake and bake from Ford. Why not? Darian Ford with a nice bucket.
Darian Ford's a winner. He won 3 straight state titles in Arkansas. This team had a 54-game win streak, and he was 2-time Arkansas Player of the Year. Big, strong, compact lefty.
Off-balance shot there by Basili. And then the foul committed by Reed. Just 16.9 seconds to go.
Going to the line, Joseph Pinion Another one of that 6-man recruiting class, and can really shoot it. And he's going to come a long way as a defender in time, but he can really shoot.
2-time All-State himself in Arkansas. Their practices must be something with all this talent and depth and length that they've got.
And their practices are really detailed. I mean, all the scouting stuff they have all over the court. They've got, you know, signs about what they're going to take away and the things they're going to do. All the opposing teams' plays. It's like your charts before a game.
Whoop. And out of bounds. Everybody okay? Just 3.3 seconds to go. Boy, are we looking forward to Creighton and Arkansas tomorrow. And boy, aren't we all looking forward to 2 more great games coming up tonight with Ohio State, San Diego State, Cincinnati, and Arizona here at a loaded Jim Maui Invitational. And that'll do it. A monster second half. Impressive is an understatement for Anthony Black and the rest of the Razorbacks as they beat Louisville in convincing fashion, 80-54. The Cardinals dropped to 0-4. The Hogs are 4-0. And boy, do we have a good one in the first semifinal tomorrow night on ESPN. And again, don't forget 2 more great games coming your way tonight. 26 points, 6 assists for Anthony Black. For Jay Billis and our crew, I'm Dan Schulman. Thanks for joining us here at Maui as we send you now to Brooklyn, the Barclays Center. Along with John Crispin, here's Dave O'Brien.